authorized.
All right, hey folks, this is Ryan from Rogue Parts, and we're doing an iPad 4 teardown. We're going to open this device up, put the heat gun on 1050. That was a little blurry, but it was at 1050, and we're going to start to tear this thing down. This is going to be a full, basically just Digitizer pull on an iPad 4, and we're going to start with heating the bottom right-hand corner of the device. As you see, we're probably about, I want to say like an inch or two away from the device. We do not have the heat gun directly over it. To where if we reach down a little further, it would touch it. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it, have just a little bit of distance there. We are just kind of going back and forth. We've probably been doing this for probably 8-9 seconds, and that's it. We're going to take the heat gun off of it. We want to get it hot enough to where we can successfully pull that glass off, and we don't want to without damaging anything. So there we're taking a double-sided metal spudger. This is a tool we have infamously used and love to use. We'll link to where you can get that below. And we're just going to start peeling glass on the bottom right-hand corner of the device. The more you heat it, the easier this glass is to peel, the less headaches you will have in doing this repair. At this point, I think the technician working on the device is realizing, hey, I think we need a little more heat, so we're going to give it just a little more heat. The reason probably is that once we get to a point where we feel it being just a little kind of hard with us, it's being a little tough, then we got to give it more heat so that we can lift the rest of that glass as easily as possible. So here we go, again at 1050 with the heat gun. We're just sort of heating in this area, back and forth, very slowly, very deliberately, trying to include as much of that in the snapshot as possible so that you can see. We're going to take that double-sided metal spudger. Here we are getting underneath of the stuff that we basically just started to break off, and see how much easier that comes off. Now we really got us some leverage, and we're really starting to kind of work up the device, separating the Digitizer from the frame, because we heated that adhesive, which is underneath if it's a good enough amount, while continuing to do it safely, while not burning the LCD or burning any of the plastic around the bezel or burning anything else. All right, so we're just going to kind of try to move this spudger up. Now we've reached a point where there's another crack. This is kind of a critical juncture because you could either keep going or you could give it some more heat, or you could kind of approach it from the top potentially and then start going down, and that's what we're going to do. So we're heating the top right corner of the device here, still at 1050. We're just going to kind of just pace it back and forth, ensuring that we're not holding it over the same spot for any considerable period of time. That's kind of the imperative note to take away here. By the way, there's some construction around our repair center, so if you hear banging in the background, don't worry about those guys. We'll just throw hammers at them, or iPads. All right, so we're probably just about done heating this. We just want to make sure that it's hot enough, because again, if we get the right amount of heat on there, the lift on the glass is just so much easier. It's so much easier. So we're going to start from the top right corner here and just start to peel this glass so that we have leverage around that area. There's the front, the rear-facing camera is right there by the double-sided metal spudger. We're going to be careful not to hit that, and then we're going to sort of work our way down. Now, if you've done an iPad 2 before, you would know that right around this area is particularly careful. You should be very careful because there are some wires that are kind of stuck to the Digitizer. On the iPad 3 and 4, those wires are underneath of a metal shield, so you do not have to be concerned about that, which is really pretty awesome. All right, so now we're going to just get the top of the device, because we've gotten all that lift basically on the right-hand side. So we're going to get that area there, all this area here by the camera, and then the area right there in the corner. We're going to begin to heat that area now. So again, we're at 1050 Fahrenheit with the heat, and we're just going to blast this thing, maintaining again the idea that we're not going to keep it over the device for any appreciable amount of time. We do not want to burn anything. We don't want to melt anything. We don't want to fuss with the LCD's functionality via too much heat, because that can happen. And we would want to get it kind of in that sweet spot so we can take our tool, whatever tool we're using, and square it away. There's our car. There's the iMobile Rescue car. That's the parent branch company of Rogue Parts. Had to flash the card there. But we're really just using that to get the glass off of the table, otherwise it'll scratch the back of the iPad. So here we go with the spudger, the double-sided metal spudger. We are just kind of working our way in there. We'll come into frame in a second here. There we go. And we're just peeling that stuff off. This really gives you a good idea of how the glass can peel off once you get it heated enough. That is the camera shield. We'll put that back upon reassembly. And look, it's really just coming right off like butter, and it's because we heated it. Just coming right off. Now we're just going to take the rest of that glass off. That's why this tool is really such a remarkable tool to use for this repair, because it's got the right amount of leverage, it's got the right amount of capacity to get underneath of the glass, and it really has just been an extreme time saver, and an efficient work tool for us. All right, we're just taking the card and kind of cleaning stuff out, cleaning the top of the device out. We've got that entire top out of the way. That whole right side is lifted, and now we're going to work right here down in this area where the Wi-Fi antenna is, to the right of the home button. Right, to the right of the home button we're just going to give it some heat. There's that Wi-Fi antenna. It's not totally stuck to the reverse end of the digitizer like it was in the iPad 2. Very, very difficult situation to get around. But it can get stuck to the digitizer when you lift it, so it's important to be careful around that area. That's why we're giving it enough heat, right? So we got the heat on it. We're blasting it with 1050, not keeping it in the same spot. You want to be careful that home button not to hold the heat gun over the home button at any capacity, because you will melt it. Okay. We got some cracks around the area. We're going to stop right there, and we're going to come from the other side. We're going to come from just essentially to the left of that Wi-Fi antenna, so we can move the spudger right, so that we'll be over that antenna rather than under the antenna, which could cause it to rip. We just exposed a little bit of the antenna right there, so now we can see exactly where we are. We have a kind of point, visual point reference from where we can work. All right, now that we got the leverage on the right-hand side and that Wi-Fi antenna exposed, right here is the home flex cable for the iPad 4. We're going to heat over that. We want to be super, super careful in lifting the screen around that area and taking the double-sided metal spudger in there, because we can slice the heck out of that wire pretty easily. And once you do that, it's a little bit of the pain in the butt to get that replaced, because you have to buy a new wire, which is in fact available on the web. You can go buy that wire. The problem is then you have to wait for it, you have to get it, and then at that point it kind of just becomes this ordeal that's just entirely too much. All right, so now we got the heat on that same kind of deal, 1050. We're going to start from the corner here so that we can really be conscious of where this spudger is and where that wire is. It's just above the spudger. We're just underneath of it, and that's the critical thing to keep in mind here. We're going to expose it here in a second so that we can see the wire. There it is right there, so you can see horizontally kind of where it's at. And we don't want to take that glass directly out of there necessarily. We just want to get it to lift. So when we pull that whole unit, the entire unit of the glass, we can pull the thing as one unit, and we don't tear that freaking home flex cable while we're doing it. That would just be like a headache party, a headache fest, a party of headaches. Okay, so we're going to flip the device around and just heat this area here so that we can do this entire lift. We'll heat the whole left side of the device. That's the left side of the device, so that we can do the lift and make sure that we don't tear that home flex cable. Right. So here we're heating the top left of the device. Then we're going to heat kind of, as you see, the technician is lifting the right-hand side of the device to sort of open it like a book at the same time, and while giving the left-hand side some heat. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach. You got the right hand opening, trying to open the digitizer, and there you go. You got the left hand heating, and now we've got a full open. All right, so now we got that thing off. We'll have to clean the edges around the rest of the digitizer. We'll take that LCD out first and then proceed with the rest of the repair. This is just a teardown. This video is not of the reassembly. We have separate videos for that. We just wanted to give you a good idea of what you're getting into if you want to do an iPad 4 repair, as well as to watch out for that sucker right there, which is that home flex cable. You see it's horizontally kind of just chilling there. We didn't tear it. We didn't mess with it. We didn't do anything with it. And, it's safely, the device has been open. Thanks for watching, folks.